Hello Kurzweil owners, today I'm going to discuss the TP10 keyboard assembly, which is in many of the Kurzweil products. Anywhere from the K2500X PC88 Mark 10 series, Mark 12 series, many ones. Several problems that you can have with the keyboard assembly. One is the keys not triggering correctly. In other words, you're playing along and some will play at full velocity every time, some not playing at all. Those are all going to be associated with key contact PCBs underneath, which I'll show you how to clean. Other issues is squeaking keys. I don't know if you can hear this on this or not. CFG. When you turn it off and you press the key down, you get a really bad squeak. I'll also go over that and show you how to correct that issue. So first is going to be the key contacts. So once you get the keyboard assembly removed from your Kurzweil unit, before you remove it out of the unit, you're going to want to unplug these two cables. Now my advice, so you don't get it mixed up, since both cables are virtually identical, is to mark them. T for treble, B for bass. Just write on the cable. You can also write on the circuit board itself if you like. So once you get those marked, you're going to want to remove the cables. Now you don't want to peel it side to side, you want to go directly straight up. That'll help prevent damaging the cable and bending the pins in the connector. So pull straight up with these. Once the cables are removed, then you can remove it from the unit. Now, when you set it upside down, you're going to want to set on something soft and something that's not rough. This will help prevent the keys from getting broken, chipped, damaged, scratched, that type of thing. So once you have it upside down, you're going to remove all these silver screws. You're going to want to use a #1 Phillips head screwdriver. I just have only a few screws in here, so the process will be quicker. You're also going to notice on the 88 keyboard assemblies there's a middle jumper right here. These just pull straight out, so just unplug it from one side, leave the other side plugged in. So go ahead and remove the screws, all these silver screws here. You may also want to have a plate handy. Put in the screws in, or a Dixie cup, or whatever you feel like, but you may want to have something handy. Alright, so once all the screws are removed, the key contact PCB just pulls right out. There you go. Now, first thing to notice on the key contact PCB is the contact strips themselves. On here, you're going to notice that each key contact has a deeper hole. One's shallow, one's deep. That's important. You're going to have to reference this when you put it back together, otherwise it'll throw all the velocity off. So on this one, the deeper hole is going to be on the side with the little connector. Or you can go big connector is a shallow hole. That's the reference. Another good way of doing it, on the treble side, you're going to notice that all these are strips of 12 except for the very last one, which is a strip of 13. This one is unique. So you can also use that as a reference. Put that one on first, and then you'll know, then reference the whole depth with the rest of them. That way you won't get confused and put one on backwards and have to take it all apart again. To remove these, they just peel right off. Be gentle, don't pull and stretch it, because then that can damage the rubber contacts. So these peel right off. All of them do the same thing. The only way they're held in is by these little rubber nubs going through the holes. It's like a pressure fit. So once you peel them off, now you can clean the key contact PCB itself. My advice is use isopropyl alcohol. It doesn't leave a residue. It won't damage the conductive pads on here. So a little cleaning toothbrush, some isopropyl alcohol. Some on the toothbrush, soft bristles, don't rub too hard, and just give it a good clean all the way down. And afterwards you can also wipe it off. I got an old t-shirt I use. This will also help prevent any kind of strands or anything else from getting caught on the different components on here, different solder welds. So once you got the key contact PCB clean, go ahead and give another visual, make sure there's nothing weird going on. What causes the problem with the velocity is there's two switches here. these little conductive dots on here are what help close the switch. So as you press the key down, first one switch is made, then the second. The time between the two determines the velocity or how loud the key is played. If the first contact is made but the second one isn't, the note will not play. If the first contact is not made but the second one is, it's going to play at full velocity. So that's where the issue is. Some kind of debris got in here. You can also have damaged key contacts, rubber contacts. If you look at them, after you're done cleaning the key contact PCB, go through and clean these also, and then give it a visual inspection. A lot of times they'll get torn either right here or on the outer edge. So go through, clean the same way, isopropyl alcohol and a little brush. Just that's all it takes. Wipe it off a little bit, blow on it, dry it up. Once all these are clean and had a good visual inspection along with the circuit board, feel free to put it all back together. Again, my advice, all these other strips of 12, you're going to notice small nub, large nub, small nub, large nub, they go all the way down. The 13th strip has a medium size. I don't know if you can tell the small, medium, and then large. So that's the one you want to focus on. With the circuit board, you're going to see that these have the 4 holes here for this one. So start on this side. To put them back in, my advice is to use the large nub here. Stick it in the hole. With this, you can just force it through with your finger. If you're finding it difficult, you can use a toothpick or some other device that's small and will fit in a hole. But you don't want to press too hard because you can pop a hole in the rubber key contact. So once you get it lined up, just push it right on in. And start with the big ones first. As you can see, I started putting the large ones in first. Like so. They're going pretty easily. And once you're done with that, just kind of push with the other fingers if you need to. Use your toothpick or scribe or whatever tool you're going to be using. And get the rest in. Now once you get all these in here, you're going to want to look underneath the key contact PCB and verify that they're all put in there flush. This is important because you don't want to put it all back together and find out a key contact is misaligned. And of course, this one's going to be difficult for me because I'm recording. There we go. Alright, so once you get these put in, look underneath. And you can tell, see this one right here isn't pushed all the way through. So just go on the other side, just push it on through. You do that with all these rubber contacts here. And once you get them all pushed in nice and flush, give another visual, make sure all the holes line up all the way down the key contact PCB. In other words, all the deep are on one side and all the shallow are on the other. Once that's done, just put it back in. You're going to notice these alignment pegs on the keyboard assembly itself here. And those will go in these little alignment holes here. So just put this back on here, line up the hole, screw it back down. Now if you have this set on something, the keys will be pressed against the key contact PCB. So you may want to either slide it to the edge here, do these, and once you get to where the keys are pressing up, slide off to the side, put the rest in, and that'll help prevent it from being warped a little bit when you screw it down. That's it for the key contact PCB cleaning portion. Next would be the squeaky key scenario. Now on this one, you don't have to remove all the keys unless you want to service the whole keyboard assembly. If you have multiple ones squeaking on you, you may want to take the whole thing off and then do all the weights at once. But in this scenario, I have one key here that's squeaking. To remove the key, I use a chopstick. One edge is whittled down to a circle, the other one's to a flathead screwdriver shape. Now, the diameter of this, you want it small enough to fit in here, but large enough where it doesn't go all the way through, because you want to catch the bottom of the spring as you press down. I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but on this G key here, just insert into the conical spring here and press, and that little hoop on the bottom of the spring will unlatch from that little metal finger. Now watch out for these things. These things are extremely sharp, so are the edges. These can be almost like razor blades. And these things will definitely take chunks of skin out. So be very careful. So push in, pull back, take off. See the hoop there? That's what wraps around this little metal finger. So once you got the spring removed, take the other side of the flathead. Now on the top of the key, right below where you remove the spring, there's this other little plastic piece sticking through the key here. You want to press that down towards the front of the key. So insert, push in, pull back, and then lift up where that spring used to be, and the key pops up. Once it's up, lift up, pull back, and then up. These little hooks prevent it from just pulling right up. So again, lift up, pull back, up, key is removed. Now for the weight, you may want to remove the adjacent keys just so you have room to get in there. And again, set these down to something soft where they won't scratch or damage the keys. Now on the tail end of the weights here, get a visual out of this here. This one's extremely filthy because it's been sitting out there. It needs to be cleaned. So if you do find the keyboard assembly itself is really dirty, you may want to remove all the keys, vacuum it out, brush it off. I just use various types of brushes to clean out of there. So the tail end of the weight, there's red felt on the tail end of each counterweight. And that, the key pressing on that counterweight and rubbing on it is what's causing that squeaking noise. So first thing you want to do is clean the felt. You know, you can use your chopstick just to scrape, rough up the top, clean the counterweight. And then you get your either Vaseline or multi-purpose lubricant. Any of those will work. The multi-purpose lubricant is designed for acoustic felts, but Vaseline will work just as well. So once you get the felt cleaned off as much as possible, get your lubricant. Again, use your chopstick or whatever if you feel like using. Get just a little bit on. You don't want too much on there. And just rub it in. You don't want it just sitting on the top. You want to actually get in there and kind of just rub it into that felt. Not too much. Just enough to coat it. Alright, that should be good. Now we can get the key. And that was the G key that was squeaking on me. Put this in here. Nice and quiet. Feel free to put the spring back on here. No more squeak. Alright. To put the keys back on, you just reverse the process. Get this A key here. Stick it in like this. You want these hooks to go underneath here. So, like this. Down, slides forward, then from here, just let it fall down, go back into that pivot, clicks into place, and there you go. Then just add the spring. You can either hook it around and drop it in like I just did here, or feel free to use your chopstick if you want. Again, when you put these on, make sure you don't cut yourself on the frame itself. After that's done, make sure you line up the T with the T and the B with the B. If you put those on your cables and on here, put it back in your unit, you're good to go. Hope this helped. Have a good day.